Hello, my little mathematicians. Today, we're going to review Mod 12, graphing independent and dependent variables through E-16 and E-17. Since this is a study guide, you should already know how to do each of these. So I want you to try as many as you can. So you would pause the video, try as many as you can, and then unpause it and come back and check yourself. Okay? So you paused it. Now you unpaused it, you're back with us. You did all the ones that you could do. The first one, we're going to look at this word problem right here that says Beth makes $5 an hour when she babysits. Okay, so you could also think of it as Beth makes $5 per hour when she babysits. And then remember, that tells you your Y per X. And your independent is always your X and your dependent is always your Y, because your answer of Y depends upon what you did to the X. So your independent variable is talking about the number of hours that she babysits. So that would be number one, number of hours she babysits. And then eventually they're going to ask you, can you label the axes? So that is the independent axis. That's the x-axis. So I'm going to label that here as the number of hours she babysits. That's what you should have labeled the x-axis when they asked you in question 7 to label the axes. Well, the dependent variable is talking about the money, right? So the money Beth makes. Now, please don't use the 5 in there because the 5 is the rate. That's how much she makes per hour. But X and Y are things that can change. So depending upon how many hours she works affects how much total money she makes. So it's just the money Beth makes. I don't use the 5 when I'm talking about the dependent variable, because independent and dependent variables aren't a set number. It's things that can change. And then that's my y-axis. So I'm going to label my y-axis money Beth makes. Okay. Now write an equation for the problem about Beth. It's always going to be y equals, and y equals what? Usually your rate. So your rate is 5 times x, and that's where it starts because there is no like initial startup fee because it's just $5 per hour. If you don't babysit at all, you don't make anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to complete the table for my equation. Okay, so based upon my equation, 5 times x, so 5 times however many hours I work tells me how much money I make. So this is my x, and this is my y. So let's just do 0, 1, 2, 3. Why make it hard? And my equation is 5 times whatever x is. So if I made x 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. Well, 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. And 5 times 3 is 15. So if she works 0 hours, she doesn't make any money. If she works 1 hour, she makes $5. 2 hours, she makes $10. 3 hours, she makes $15. Now I'm going to go ahead and graph those. So I only go up to 15. I can probably just count by ones. So on this axis, let's see that that's 1, and then 2, 3, and 4. I just went over every other one just so that it wasn't so crammed. And then this one, I could probably count by, definitely just by ones, but I'm going to label every other one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay. So my first one, if she doesn't work anything, she makes nothing. So that's 0, 0. Then at 1 hour, she makes $5. So over 1 up 5 is between the 4 and the 6. And then over 2 up 10. and over 3 up 15 is between the 14 and the 16. So right there. And then when I go ahead and I connect all those, that makes a perfectly straight line. Okay, so I graphed those. Now, if I were to title this graph, you want to talk about what is the instance talking about? What is this word problem doing? So who's doing what? It's talking about Beth. And what is Beth doing? She's babysitting. So money made from Beth babysitting. Beth babysits, like how much Beth babysits, how much she makes from babysitting. I'll just call it Beth's babysitting business. Okay, now again, as long as it's who and what. So money Beth makes from babysitting. You're mentioning Beth and babysitting. That's all we care about. All right. Now we did all the problems up through 7. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 8. Number 8 says, write an equation for how much money he will earn. How much money who will earn? We'll look at the problem right here. It says, George earns $3 a day for delivering newspapers. So y equals what? 3x, because however many days, $3 a day for delivering newspapers. So y per x. So that means however many days he does it, he gets money. And how much money? $3. So if he does it for 5 days, how much would he earn? Well, x is talking about the number of days, so let's plug in a 5 for days. 3 times 5 is 15. So he would make $15 if he works for 5 days. What about if he works for 16 days? Okay, well, I'm still talking about days, and days is x, so let's plug in 16 for x. If I multiply that out, that tells me y equals 48, and y is talking about the money. So he'll make $48 if he works for 16 days. Now, what if they told me how many days did George work if he made $36? So this time in the equation of y equals 3x, they didn't tell me the number of days, they told me the money made. So this time I'm going to plug in for the y and figure out the x. So 3 times what is 36? Well, these are being multiplied. The inverse of multiplying is to divide. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So you have 1x equals 36 divided by 3 is 12. Yeah, that makes sense. 3 times 12 is 36. So how many days would he have to work in order to make $36? 12 days. All right, let's go ahead and see how we did on the back side. Okay, the back side,